I have often referred to myself as a frugal minimalist. Now, being a frugal person or being someone who calls yourself a minimalist, sometimes those people can be at a crossroads where they may have some similar ideas, but may also have very different ideas. I found an extremely thought-provoking article called How to Be a Frugal Minimalist. There are some very interesting points made in this article. Some I agree with, some I don't. I thought this would be perfect for Money Article Monday for us to see maybe we're frugal, maybe we're minimal, maybe we're both. Let's see what it has to say. If you are new here, my name is Jennifer, and on this channel, we talk about saving money and living a simple life. I also am documenting our journey to paying off our mortgage by the year of 2024 and ultimately being financially independent. So if any of that interests you, make sure you click on that subscribe button so we can hang out again. As always, I will have the article linked down below for you to read in its entirety. And I really do encourage you to click on this one because there's a lot in it, and it's very thought-provoking. This I found on the website The Minimalist Vegan, and it's called How to Be a Frugal Minimalist by Michael Ophe. I apologize if I am not saying that correctly. It was written or posted again on May 12th, 2021. Now, please stay to the end of this video. I have a special shout out. I want to show you guys something, and it just made me so happy, so I want to share it in this video. Please wait till the end and we'll talk about that. The writer says that in this post, he will share why frugal living poses problems for those looking to live with less. At the same time, there are some areas where frugal living amplifies minimalism. Before we look at those challenges and benefits, let's define both of them. So this is what the writer says, that frugal living, what does that mean? Frugality is the process of being sparing, thrifty, prudent, or economical in the consumption of consumable resources such as food, time, or money, and avoiding waste, lavishness, and extravagance. Now, this says that minimalism is the process of eliminating the non-essentials in your life so you can focus on things that add value. A minimalist is not necessarily concerned about the cost of something as long as it adds value. Simultaneously, frugality is more concerned about reducing and avoiding costs to focus on the long term. So I don't agree with these two. Going back up to frugal living, it says avoiding waste, absolutely. But avoiding lavishness and extravagance, I think that people who are also frugal are very similar to people who are minimal, and they will pay more for things that add value. Oftentimes what they do is they're frugal in the areas that don't mean a lot to them, where it would be wasteful, and then they use that money to amplify. Let's say it's trips. Let's say they don't like clothing so much. They save money on clothing, but then they spend that money on trips, memories. So I don't agree that they're very different. Within these definitions, I think these definitions are very narrow. The article goes on and says, let's have a closer look at the challenges of being a frugal minimalist. So, I consider myself a frugal minimalist, right? Let's see if these are my challenges. Holding on to things that no longer add value. I have absolutely no problem getting rid of things that do not add value. But basically what this says is someone who is frugal is motivated to retain things instead of buying new things, right? This is an excellent mindset, especially when it comes to reducing waste. However, retention is a risk of promoting clutter, which minimalists don't like. For example, you might have a tool you haven't used in 5 years. To avoid rebuying it, you keep it just in case. Conversely, a minimalist would likely get rid and not look back. So yeah, this is where the crossroads is. You do have some frugal people, absolutely, that hang on to everything. And I think those people's mindsets often comes from when they didn't have anything, okay? So back when the Great Depression, a lot of that era, those people hang on to things because they've seen when you could not get those things, basically. Whereas I think the generations that are more minimal are the generations that if they got rid of that hammer, they think and know that they could go out and find that hammer very quickly. Now, this is where it kind of wraps back around, and I think this is such an interesting article because currently things are hard to come by. You may have gotten rid of something as a minimalist and you may not be able to find it because the store shelves are empty. Production was halted. Things can't get here. So there's a new, I think, a new idea on the horizon again of where minimalists might start to think, oh, is it a good idea to get rid of everything? On the same token, you don't want to hang on to everything because it just gets cluttered. Finding ways to make things multi-purpose, I think, is a better way than hanging on to, one-use items. But I think this is it's a very interesting dynamic of change that is happening. This is one I do not agree with. It says, a challenge of a frugal minimalist is bargain hunting. Being economical and frugal often means being motivated by bargains. My frugal people, are we motivated by bargains? Do we buy something just because it's a bargain? No, we do not. This says those who are frugal are thinking about the long term and may be tempted to buy things just because it's a good deal and it is likely to use them in the future. I don't think that's the case. I mean, you may be, let me know, if you are a frugal person and you see a bargain and you see something out that you may use in the future, are you likely to buy it? Personally, I don't think that's the case. So then the article goes into promotions, a brief history of promotions. And I love statistics. This says that according to Time magazine, Atlanta businessman Asa Candler had an invention that transformed Coca-Cola from an insignificant tonic into a market-dominating drink. His handwritten tickets often offered customers a free glass of Coca-Cola. Between 1894 and 1913, an estimated 1 in 9 Americans had received a free Coca-Cola for a total of 8.5 million free drinks. In 1895, Coca-Cola was being served in every state. As demonstrated by Coca-Cola's success, a discount is an incredibly creative and compelling way to sell products. Now, discount, dear writer, is not the same as free. Now, there are people who take anything that's free. I don't. Like, if you go to one of those, back when they had like a trade show and all that free crap, like the stress balls and all the pens and maybe bookmarks, but you had to give them your email in order to get all that stuff. What else do they have? Plastic cups, beach balls, tote bags. I was never a fan of all of that nonsense. You'd come back home, you'd take the tote bag where you put everything in it and then you toss it out, and then you'd test all the pens to see which one was the best pen and get rid of the rest of them. Anybody else? This says whether it's saving coupons for pizza deals or waiting for Boxing Day mega sales, we are conditioned to look for better prices. Yeah, we look for better prices, but I think the one thing you'll find with frugal people, and again, there are many different types, but I'm speaking for myself, is I think we look for deals on things we need. Typically, frugal people don't buy things they don't need, correct? This is not to say that sales are a bad thing when it comes to minimalism. I love a good deal as much as the next person. After all, we're talking about saving hard-earned cash. My issue with sales is the power to hold over us as consumers. Sales encourage us to buy more than we need. I agree, but I don't think that's a difference between a frugal person and a minimalist. I just think that's an idea of consumerism. I don't think it would be one over the other. I think that either person, if you don't think you're both, maybe if you think you're either or, could fall under that exact same trap. The next one, accepting things for free. This is one where you have to be careful. Another mindset of bargain hunting is accepting things for free. Your best friend has only worn her shoes twice. They're in perfect condition, and she offers them to you for free. You don't need more shoes, but you happen to have the same shoe size. What do? Well, depends on what the shoes are. I mean, are we talking cute shoes? Are we talking, let's think about this. You need to give me more information for me to make a informed decision here, mister. He also says that you're part of multiple buy, sell, and swap Facebook groups. You get a notification on your phone. Someone in your zip code is offering a 32-inch TV for free. Enticing, isn't it? No. First of all, I'm not on social media. I'm certainly not on any Facebook groups to get rid of things, because typically when I get rid of my things, like the thing is about giving things for free, and I've talked about this, is if you know somebody enjoys them. So my mom, for example, if I have shoes, handbags, she will take them and she will use them for years. Now, hopefully, Mom, you've gotten rid of some of the ones that, you know, were from years ago, and you're not cluttering them up, and I eventually have to clean them out, right? But the thing I talk about with hand-me-downs, you know, let's say you have, for me, our daughter, we know a couple and they have 2 daughters younger than mine. Well, back when she was smaller and clothes, she grew out of clothes more quickly. As she's gotten older, she doesn't grow as quickly. We would send things, and I sent a note one time, and I told my husband, I said, when you speak to them, make sure you say, if you ever want us to stop, please tell us. You know, I think if you are giving something to somebody with the caveat of, hey, if you do not need this, do not feel bad. Feel free to get rid of it. So I think if you give something to somebody, also give them the power to know it's okay not to keep it. I think oftentimes people end up keeping things, not just things given to them for free, but gifts, because they feel an obligation to keep it. Oh my goodness, she gave me this. What if she comes over and I don't have it sitting out and she asks about it and I go, oh, well, I got rid of that. You feel bad. You need to, being a giver, a gift giver or giver of something free, understand that you're giving the power of that thing away, and it is no longer your responsibility, and it is no longer, you are no longer allowed to ask where it went, basically. It's funny that I went on that rant because the article kind of goes into this. It says we're faced with these kinds of decisions all the time, and it's always just tempting to say, yes, I know what's going through your head. The writer says, I don't want to disrespect someone who's being so generous. It would be a shame if it went to waste. Oh my goodness, that is the biggest one. It would be a shame if it went to waste. And again, I understand the mindset behind somebody who grew up with not enough, right? It would be a shame if it went to waste. Well, just because Susan is offering something to Sally and Sally says no, does not mean it's going to go to waste. Susan could actually give it to somebody who would find it useful. There are plenty of people out there who actually need what Susan has. Sally taking it, think about this. So if Sally's worried about not taking something from Susan and she considers that wasteful, well, Sally, if you take it and you put it at the top of your closet and it sits there for 10 years, wasn't that the same as it being wasted? The next part of this article says, promoting a wasteful supply chain. While frugal living is great for reducing waste, shopping frugally can pose problems for mindful consumption. Again, frugal consumption is mainly concerned with reducing cost. I do not agree, sir. that was me adding into this. This generally means buying things which are very low price. The thing that I don't think this is thinking about is, well, you know what? If somebody went around being frugal and bought everything that they saw that because it was a very low price, that's not saving money. That's spending money on things you don't need. So again, a frugal person doesn't go out and buy things just because they're on sale. That's not a frugal person in my mind. The writer says, not always, but mostly low-cost items are made cheaply, and the only way to achieve a low price at scale is to engage in unethical practices. I agree. Whether it's avoidance of fair trade practices, unnatural ingredients and materials, and of course, exploitation of animals. This person, obviously the blog is a minimalist vegan. As minimalist vegan shoppers, we're mostly happy to spend money on higher cost items as long as it's considered essential to us and the product is ethically made. I do not agree this is solely for a minimalist. A frugal person also is happy to spend a higher cost on an item as long as it's considered essential and, ethically made. The thing with a frugal person is we will spend money on something higher quality Now, it may not be just because it's ethically made, or it doesn't have any animal testing or leather, etc. No, but it could be because we understand the price per use. A frugal person looks at something as price per use, quality over quantity. So we will see that over the long term, if we buy a white t-shirt for $50 and it lasts us for 4 years versus buying a new white t-shirt for $10 every 6 months, that's going to be a better price per use for us. We're going to get more longevity. And guess what? We also are going to be less wasteful, which is also the same idea as minimalism. The article continues, foregoing spontaneous and impulsive spending. As a minimalist, your spending is driven by value. This includes spontaneous activities. With frugal living being so focused on the discipline of short-term consumption, it limits opportunities to splurge sparingly. Again, don't agree. I think that frugal people are very much of the same mindset. If they save money here, then they can spend more money somewhere else. I mean, most of us understand that we can't take it with us, so we're not just going to pile it up forever. We're going to spend it mindfully on the things that matter to us. So we're on to the part of the article that talks about tips for being a frugal minimalist. Suppose the promotion applies to what we intended to purchase. Great. However, if we're getting pulled into something we didn't plan on buying, you need to slow down. A simple question to ask yourself before buying something is, did I plan to buy this today? Now, of course, there's going to be some exceptions to this question. For example, you may be in the grocery store walking through your list and realize that you forgot to add a key ingredient. Yeah, that's happened to me. But in most purchases, you can ask yourself whether you planned it or not. That's called intentional shopping. And that's a frugal person or a minimalist. Again, I think a bargain hunter is more of what, okay, let me know if you agree. I think that this person may think that being frugal is more bargain hunter. Like the bargain hunter person, if we're gonna put them under an umbrella, people categorize it, I think their thinking is more that a frugal person is similar to a bargain hunter. That's just the kind of idea that I'm getting here. And again, I'll let you read the article because it goes into some more interesting information about them. And I like some of their thoughts here. It goes down here too. Frugal living can feel like reactive consumerism based on opportunity. Again, that sentence should be bargain hunters can feel like reactive consumerism based on opportunity. And it says, while minimalism is more proactive and intentional. Again, I think frugal people are proactive and intentional. And maybe because I'm both, I put them together. Who knows? If you can apply a more methodical approach to consumerism while also using frugality principles to be resourceful with your things, the combination can make for an incredibly valuable perspective. I completely agree with that. Putting those two principles together, I've said this before I ever even knew about this article, putting frugal and thoughts and minimalism together, when I did that, I grew up being frugal, and when I discovered minimalism, I found such similarities, and I found that paired together, it was like the perfect wine to go with your dinner. The pair was just amazing, and they benefited each other so well. So the article ends just asking if you consider yourself a frugal minimalist. It says that being frugal, if you are considering yourself as frugal as a means of being cheap, you'll find it in contradiction to minimalism. But again, some people assume automatically that frugal people are cheap. You know what they say about assumptions. But if you see frugal living as a necessary constraint to be mindful of how you spend your time and money, then it's an incredible amplifier of minimalism. So, what are your thoughts on this article? Gosh, I could have probably a pretty interesting conversation with this person. And again, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong about any of this. This is all my opinion. It says my name right down here. It's my channel. You're entitled to your opinion, and I would actually love to hear it. What are your thoughts on this? Again, go in and read it in its entirety, and tell me what you take from it, what you think. Do you agree or disagree that I think their idea of a frugal person is more of what I consider a bargain hunter? Now, I promised you something. I wanted to share something that a subscriber sent me. It came from Christina, and I just have to share it. I got it in my P.O. box, and it is just amazing. And I was so excited when I opened it, and this sweet little handwritten note, and I read it, and I had my daughter here, and she says, just a little gift, I made a pillowcase for your daughter. And when my daughter heard that, she just lit up. She was so happy. She goes, "Oh, it's for me?" And I said, "Yes." And she wanted to immediately put it on her pillow, but I said, no, sweetheart, let me make a video, because I need to shout out to Christina, who is so sweet, and this beautiful pillowcase that she made. We've talked, you know, on my channel, like my most watched video is Grandma's Frugal Habits or Tips. And one of my favorite things is looking back at, you know, handmade things and hand done things. And Christina, I showed this to my mom, who also sews very well, and she was so impressed. Guys, it is a beautiful pillowcase, and I know fabric. Being out at a store, you can't find soft fabric like this, but it is the sweetest little print. Hopefully you could see that. It's a cheerleader, and then she's taken the base of it and made and done beautifully. Oh gosh, the stitching. She's doubled up the stitching, and my daughter absolutely loved this, Christina. So I had to share this. So thank you. I was so excited when I got this. Stuff like this, the love that goes into it, the work that goes into it, the thought that goes into it. I think, you know, if you went and bought a pillowcase at Walmart and sent it to me, it's just not the same. You know, of course I would love it regardless, because you thought of me, but a handmade gift is just, it's just the sweetest. And it was the sweetest little wrapping with a little girl on it. I just wanted to say thank you, and I wanted to do it on camera. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you back for more videos.